Good morning. Happy Sunday, everyone. Good morning. We're going to see if we have a good connection and if I can manage not to drop the laptop. I almost said laugh top. That's what it feels like today. Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. We're coming up on the end of March and going into April. And you guys had a lot of questions for me. I thought it would be easiest. I have about 45 minutes right now. I'm ready for church. Just have to throw on last piece of clothing and walk out the door. So I thought, well, this would be a good time because the rest of my day is pretty packed. And I had a lot of questions from you all. And I thought this would be a good time to just kind of speak to you personally. I am not a big texter or emailer. That is not my preference. I like phone calls. I like talking in person. So a lot of times you guys will post comments. I read your comments, but I just honestly hate writing something out on my phone because that's usually where I read your comments. So I thought I would answer a few questions from my friends out there because number one, they were funny and they amused me and you guys crack me up all the time. And number two, maybe this is a better way to communicate instead of me trying to write things out. So lots of comments on my last few videos. The first question that I wanted to answer was from my friend HU. And this is pertaining to my switching to Dr. Eric Westman's page 4, Adapt, Phase 1, and reading his book, Cure Your Carb Confusion. Cure Your Carb Confusion. That's the book that started me off kind of thinking about this, recommended by a friend that I know. And then also started doing some research on Dr. Eric Westman and just kind of got into that train of thinking, that rabbit trail off of what I was studying before, which was calorie cycling and calories in versus calories out and all the new research and evidence on that. So this is just my experience, and I just started. So one of the questions I did have, and I'll get to you who asked me this, is how long have I been doing it? Well, if you've been watching my videos this last week, I just started. I'm not an expert. So anything that I answer, take it with a grain of salt and give me some grace, knowing that this is just me feeling comfortable enough to talk to you guys about it at a starting point. I'm entry level. I'm an entry-level employee. So HU asked me, were you crazy hungry just counting calories? I can relate. So I laughed at this first question because I thought, I am crazy hungry really doing anything except a lower carb version of things. And even when I was doing other plans, and you guys are really aware of other things that I've done, I've noticed that when I decrease the carbohydrates, eat more whole foods, and don't buy a lot of the processed stuff, I have a decrease in my appetite, which really does help me, especially in the evenings when I tend to overeat due to being tired, stressed, being out of a good habit. Normally my habits are what dictate a lot of what I do, unfortunately. And when I get into a habit with that, I'll never forget a couple years ago before we moved, eating the Halo Top ice cream every night. It fit within my points at the time, but I noticed the scale completely stalling out. And that was sort of an aha moment for me that habit, that cycle was not serving me. So, oh, hi, Nurse N95. I love your name. Fabulous. Fabulous. Okay, next question. Let me see. You might enjoy Keto Chaos channel, is what Heidi Cook said. I have not checked out her channel or his channel, so I will have to check that out. I had someone else ask on here. Valerie C says that she watched Dr. Eric and she might be will be trying this. She's going to clean out her pantry. And she has chronic pain, and low carb has worked for me before in terms of weight loss. Fern G, hi Fern, thank you for your comment. Fern says that her doctor's not on board with her. I think that's such an important point to make, Fern, is that it's really important to get your doctor on board with whatever you decide to do. It doesn't matter what plan. Really important. I'm trying to find the one. Oh, I want to talk to my friend Dee Dee. Hi, Dee Dee. She's asking about my fingernails. I've talked about this before. I know this is totally off topic, but I use the Impress press-on nails with some nail glue. And the reason I do that, I have very, very brittle, thin nails. I have my whole life, and they tear down into the quick. This is terrible information. I'm very sorry, but being a nurse and scrubbing in the OR and being a labor and delivery nurse did not help my nail situation. So I have to wear something on top of there to protect them. So I either do this or I go get some sort of, product at the nail salon on top, just so that I'm not always breaking and tearing my nails. So right now I'm not going to the nail salon to save money. Impress nails, they're like $6.99 with nail glue for Dee Dee. She asked. Let's see. Susan Pink says, my problem is giving up fruit. And I've had a couple questions about fruit on this plan. So in phase 1, you don't do the fruits. You just don't do them. There's a very strict list that I shared with you guys yesterday. That's not to say that fruit can't be incorporated in, and it's not a part of a, listen to this, well-rounded diet. You know what that's from, right? Food pyramid days. So you can incorporate fruit, I think, later on, but you're going to be looking at your carbs. Okay. So a lot of people can incorporate berries and low glycemic index fruits and not have a big spike in insulin, which leads to us storing more fat. But that's later. So phase 1 is really to get some healing and get to, Dr. Eric Westman talks about this is not a weight loss plan. This is more about healing yourself. And so weight loss is a side effect of his plan. It's a side effect. So for me, getting into a healthier, I guess, BMI, even though I have problems with BMI personally, I don't think it's an accurate measure of data, but reducing the adipose tissue on my body and the chronic inflammation that I have, I'm starting to have chronic hip pain. I've noticed my left knee hurts. And then I have a back injury. So, we talk about like health and what that looks like. At this weight, I do not personally feel healthy. Okay. I feel like there are areas that I can control and that I can get healthier personally. And so I'm working on that for myself. And I think that's a personal place to be. And it's also something that you need to talk to your doctor about. What does your lab work look like? Are they having to refer you to a bone doctor, the bone and joint clinic? Are you talking about MRIs? I think this last back injury that I had, when we were talking about you get 4 weeks of physical therapy and other therapies, and if we're not good in 4 weeks, we're going to talk MRI and other things. That scared the poop out of me. I think pain, honestly, worked on me more than the diagnosis of the fatty liver, because that's not something that bothers me. Okay. But this chronic pain that I've been having, it's interfered with my sleep. I had a couple months where I felt actually really depressed and wasn't going out much. And I know we have the pandemic, but I wasn't going out even when I got an opportunity, like to go to the grocery store or something. I just felt like I was in a funky place because of all the pain. Pain makes me grouchy, you guys. So I don't know if that was an answer to that, but sure it was. Mama on the Run. Hello, Mama on the Run says, hi, Amy. How long have you been doing the Page 4 program? Like I said, I'm a newbie. So there are lots of experts out there on Page 4. And so I would go check them out and take everything that I'm saying right now with a grain of salt, because I have a lot to learn. Just in general, I have a lot to learn. And then also about this particular prescription. That is one thing that really hit me when I was watching some of Dr. Westman's conference videos, is he was talking about, and I think this is applicable to all of us that are trying to find that healthy way of eating that's sustainable for a lifetime. If you treat your healthy way of eating, just that in itself, whatever you're choosing out there for yourself, as a prescription, If your doctor prescribes blood pressure medication or insulin or thyroid medication or tells you to take an aspirin every day, that's important, guys. And that to not do those things, aside, the aspirin could be life-saving or not, you never know, but you should be taking an ASA every day. But talk to your PCP about that. Look up the research on that. It's amazing. Aspirin, ASA, aspirin. That's life-saving, okay? And that if you don't take your blood pressure medication, you could have a stroke. So you take it every day. Your healthy way of eating is a prescriptive as well. And if we care about our health, we take our medicine every day, is how Dr. Westman phrases it. I think for me as an RN, like reframing that really helped me this last couple of weeks to look at it more as, I can take my multivitamin every day. I take my ASA every day. Sometimes I take my other vitamins. Sometimes I forget. I take my magnesium supplement, all that stuff. But I neglect this prescription. I'm non-compliant. Or even like your mental health meds. You know how bad you feel if you're not taking your antidepressant. Guess what? Same thing if you're not eating healthy. So that really hit me this last couple weeks. So I'm looking at this as a prescriptive. Jean says, can we see page 4 to copy? No, I am not going to be posting the page 4, Jean. I love you. And I love you because it's in a copywritten book. Okay. So I am telling you where to find it. Number 1, Google Dr. Westman, page 4, Duke University. Google that. You will find people have posted it on Pinterest. They posted it in other places. I do make a little small amount of money on my YouTube channel, and I don't think that it's ethical or right. And it's not so much about me getting sued. It's not ethical or right for me to sell you guys his information, to post it for free. He's all over the internet. Go check that out for yourselves. I want to do the right thing by him. This is his work. He's not selling shakes and pills and things, but he has evidence-based information online that you guys can easily look up. So I'm not going to post that. I read yesterday, if you watched my video, I did read to you guys the sort of instructions for page 4. So you can go back there, take some notes if you want, and then go Google. Okay. So that's where I stand on that. And I will not be selling a copy of his page 4. Other people do that. I'm not doing that. It's not happening. So there's other places you can find that. There's somebody that sells it for $10 and you can go download a copy of it. I personally have a problem with that. Okay. And part of that is my husband's a musician. Okay. And I know what that's like to have his music downloaded and taken and not having any royalties for that creative work. Dr. Westman's put a lot of work into this. And so let's go support him, support his stuff. Okay. Okay. There you go. I went into nurse rant mode. Sorry. Okay. So Tracy Honey says, I'm working on the arm thing. We were talking about arm adipose yesterday using bands with my rebounder. Have you used a rebounder mini trampoline? Tracy, I have not. I've seen people do that. At this point, I'm doing lower impact stuff because of my back injury. I can do some gentle walking and that sort of thing, but I would love to hear more about your rebounder and tell me which one you use. I'd love to go look it up. Mary Vitra says you have a Fiber One brownie problem, girl. Anne Marie says the Fiber One brownies made me laugh. I also love those things. I buy the big box at Costco, and I have one a day in the morning with my coffee. They seem to keep my sweet tooth satisfied, and I know everyone will laugh, but they keep me regular. Sorry for the TMI. Anne Marie, I like them too, a little bit too much. So, Mary also says, have mercy, under 20 carbs. Is that even possible? Yes, Mary, it is possible. My friend, it is possible. There are lots of people doing it. Now, do you want to do it? That's up to you. That is totally up to you. It's possible. I wouldn't say that. I would say you would have to make some major adjustments in the way you approach things if you're going to do this type of deal. So let me see. I had some other comments. Let me go through those. Craig and Leah Aho, A-H-O, also wrote something funny about the fiber ones. They said, haha, that gives me gas. You guys are a trip. Hi, Jill. How are you? Hi, Janine. As someone who's looking at knee replacement for every pound lost, yes. Okay. So Janine has a good point over here. She's saying every pound loss is 4 pounds less of pressure on your joints. Every pound, 1 pound. Yeah. Janine, I'm so with you on that as someone who is, I think the other thing that really hit me is that my dad just had double knee replacement. He's getting over his second one. His second surgery was a lot more difficult to get over than his first. And my mom has had double knee replacement within the last 6 or 7 years. So I see that in my future. And my dad even said to me, he said, Amy, if you can do something about it now, do something. And he also said, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. He also said, if you can do it, don't put it off. So he said, the minute you start having knee problems, go get it taken care of. He said, I regret the years that I put up with knee pain, and it really impeded his life. Like all the times he didn't go fishing. And in fact, he wants me to go fishing with him. He's so cute. I don't like to go fishing. Daddy, if you're watching this, I'm going to go fishing with you because I love you to pieces, but the worms and the hook in the little mouth of the fish, it's just traumatizing to me, but I'm going to go. I'm going because I love him. Let me see. Tracy Honey says she's been following me for 3 years and she's been doing low carb for a while and is getting serious about it. That's awesome. I had another question. I had someone ask me about Lent, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that. If I can find it. I think it was Brenda. No, it was somebody that's Orthodox. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about that. You guys know that I'm Eastern Orthodox Christian, and we have lots of fasting periods. And with such a strict list from Dr. Westman, of the phase 1. How does that fit in? So in the Orthodox Church, we have something awesome called a priest or a father confessor, spiritual father, however you want to, go with that. And so the option that we have in the church is to obviously go speak to them about all kinds of decisions and get some wise counsel from the spiritual side of things. So during Lent, we have an extended period of time. It's over 40 days. I think it's like, I don't even know, 50 something days. Don't quote me on that. Where we fast from meat, dairy, wine, and oil. So we do a lot of carbohydrate intake during this period. And when I have strictly done the fast in the past, I have had a lot of inflammation. I've gained a lot of weight. I've had a lot of bloating. And also my appetite is out of control, which when you're fasting, that's one of those things that you can work on, but it's very distracting. Also, I get into more of a binge pattern in the evenings, and it is very difficult. And I'm not saying that the fasting should be easy, but when you have some health conditions, it makes it more challenging. So, instead of just doing things on my own, I do this in conjunction with talking to the priest. So I would say if you are in a religion and you need some spiritual guidance, go to that person and don't just say, well, Amy on the internet does this. That's not appropriate. So we can adjust things based on health in the church. Like we have pregnant, people in the church that obviously doing this type of fast is not recommended usually. Honestly, that's a very, very strict fast for someone that's pregnant. We have diabetics. We have vegans in the church. Well, what are they supposed to do? There's just a lot of different categories. And so that's something in our church that we can go talk to the priest about and work on it with them and not have it be a comparative thing. There's other things we focus on during Lent, and that is alms, which is charity, doing charitable things, and also prayer. So, honestly, who cares if you keep the fast perfectly, but you're not kind to others and you're not praying? What's the point? What is the point? So, in my thinking. So anyway, that's an answer to that. I know I have several Orthodox Christian friends out there that follow me, and I would really urge you guys to go talk to your father confessor or your priest and, just kind of go over what's going on with you and whatever you're doing, whatever you're doing, kind of review that. My husband asked the whole parish before Lent starts to please come talk to him about fasting. If there's a question, if they feel like, following the strict fast needs to be discussed. Okay. It's a very serious time for us in the Orthodox Church. So we're trying to be really careful. And, in the church, when people ask me, I always say, go ask Father David. This is a discussion for Father David. I'm not going to tell people what to do. For sure. That's not my job. So hello, my friend from New Jersey. We were in a parish placement in Paramus for a little bit. So, and there's a mall in New Jersey that I love. Okay. So hello, my friend, D. Florentino. Love it. All right. So there's an answer to that for those of you that asked me. There are some videos on how low carb, Atkins, and keto are different. I'm not calling this keto. I'm calling it Dr. Westman's page 4 because it doesn't follow a lot of these lines of dirty keto, clean keto, all the supplements and bars and things like that. I think there is a delineation and a difference there. So yes, the Route 17 malls. Oh, I miss my New Jersey peeps. Oh gosh, you guys have really been through it up there too. Let me see. Okay. So it was Karina Branadow that asked me about how do you go about Lent now? Orthodox Lent is so long and regular through the year. That's a long time to go off any plan and to mess with my blood sugars for sure. Yeah. And there are some things that we can do. So in the Orthodox Church, we do a lot of fasting as well. So that's something that you can definitely incorporate into what you're doing with Dr. Westman. And then also he does allow shellfish. So on Wednesdays and Fridays when we fast, very strictly, those are days that, I can do that sort of thing. So there's definitely things to do in conjunction with talking to the priest or father confessor. Okay. So let me see if there's any other questions in the chat. There were a whole bunch of questions on here that I can't find now. So there you go, Amy. If you have a question you'd like for me to answer in another Q&A, drop them below. I'm happy to answer questions as I learn more. And then I can also direct you to a source of expertise and not Amy Tease, expertise, people that actually do the work. I'm just here kind of disseminating to you guys what I'm doing. Hi, Marianne Fox. How are you? Hi, Tracy Russell. Kelly H is in here. Kelly, thank you for moderating. I really appreciate you. I was hoping that Michelle Zerber would be in here, but as usual, she hasn't caught up with me. So let me see. Nurse N95 says, don't want to put you in information overload, but Dr. Ken Berry is in Tennessee and is a great source of info too, has a YouTube channel as well. And I watched Dr. Berry a few years ago when I kind of played in keto and then didn't know what I was doing and I got frustrated. And then I was making all kinds of keto desserts and overeating them. That's the name of the game for Amy is Overeating Amy. That should be the name of my channel, Overeating Amy. Yes, thank you for the recommendation. And I think at some point, I will look at some other things, but other sources of information. I really like that. Right now, I'm just trying to get through the 4 books that I'm reading and apply. sometimes there's a lot of extra information out there that's conflicting in all areas. In all areas, calorie counting, WW, I had somebody ask me about Noom. Oh, that was another question I want to answer. Okay. So I've had several people over the last few years ask me about Noom, and here is I have a very brief experience with Noom where I tried like a 2-week trial with them. And what I found, number one, their plan is expensive. They do give you a free trial, and there is a lot of mindset stuff, but there's a lot of like interactive articles and things that you are to do every day. And I think you spend like 5 to 15 minutes a day doing that, which a lot of people tend to like. I have a lot of friends that went on Noom and went off Noom. My best friend, Carrie, if she's watching out there, my best friend, Carrie from college, she's the one that we went on the 25-year anniversary cruise with, if you guys remember that from the year before last. She has lost and kept off 30 pounds with Noom. And she's also probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And for her, she really enjoyed going through all the readings and the quizzes and all of that. My other experience with Noom is that the scanner did not work very well. I felt like on my phone, it didn't scan. I love the Lose It app. Lose It scans everything for me. I love the colors of Lose It. I love the fact that you can look at your calories and macros, which, by the way, Dr. Westman says you don't have to do. He has a whole video on that. You don't have to do that if you follow his page 4. You don't have to get caught up in all of that. Simplify, simplify, simplify. I think that is really his call, is to simplify. And at this point in my life, that makes sense. So she has used Noom and really likes it. I think my friend Molly over at Classically Molly, I think she, from what I remember on her videos or Instagram, she tried Noom for a little bit, and I think it got to be too much as well. So I don't think she uses that anymore. And if you go on YouTube, you can look up Noom. There's a lot of people that have used it and like it. It personally was not for me. Hi, Amy. Hi, Erin. Erin loves Lose It. I love Lose It. Highly impressed with Lose It. We'll continue to use Lose It. Marianne says, I tried Noom for a few weeks talking to robotic people. Told them I had COVID, and a week later it said for me to track more. Yes, I also heard the groups. I heard, depending on which coach you get, it can be really good. But I heard like the groups and the coaches can be like kind of a hit or miss thing. So I'm not laughing at your COVID, by the way. I hope you're feeling better, Marianne. But I don't really understand why they would say that to you. That's dumb. Okay. Have a great day, everyone. I will be back at some point, but post questions down below. If you think of something, if you're watching this at a later date and you're like, oh, I want to ask her about that, I can point you to a video, or I can come on here and also talk to you guys some more about what I am learning. I'm going to go head to church and have a great Sunday out there. Bye, guys. Take care.